Greetings guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are well and I hope that you are fighting because there's a lot to be fighting for. As usual, there'll be links in the description to the page on my website with a bunch of petitions, donations, emails to send to MPs, etc. Or you can go straight to thequeerkiwi.com/support. Now today, I thought I would sit down and talk about something that is making my blood boil, and that is Bella Thorne and what she has done to OnlyFans and thus the 480,000 creators on the site. In case you're unaware, Bella Thorne joined OnlyFans a few days ago as a way to research for a new movie she's doing, to see how a platform like that treats its creators, and to see how far people are willing to go for money. Which, for a start, not okay. How far are people going? It just seems very slut-shamey, very judgy of sex workers and people who sell things like sex tapes and full nudes and things like that. And she's saying that she wants to support the creators and destigmatize sex work, but then she's asking questions like that. Yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me. And that is only the very tip of the iceberg. The amount of wrong everything she did is absolutely ridiculous. Now you might be asking, why is it so wrong that she joined OnlyFans? Why are we hating on this one person for joining OnlyFans when we're so supportive of sex workers and everyone doing whatever they want, do what you want with your body? And the problem is, she took away so much business from other people and also just scammed people. For a start, she made $1 million. $1 million day one using that site. And she's not someone who needs that money, firstly. And I don't know what she did with that money. But if she does anything other than give that to sex workers who need it, then she was not at all doing it to support sex workers. That's just a load of bollocks. But the number one thing that people like myself are extremely mad at is the fact that on OnlyFans, if you don't know how it works, you pay for a subscription, but then on top of that, there is pay-per-view content as well. So you can release like a nude photo set or a sex tape or you performing a sexual act or whatever like that, and you get it cheaper as a subscriber, or you can be not a subscriber and pay for it, that sort of deal. And she put up a pay-per-view, as she described, nude photo for $200. So someone could pay $200 and they'd get a nude photo of Bella Thorne. And so thousands of people paid her $200 for this nude photo, and it wasn't a nude photo. It was her in her lingerie, despite advertising it as a full nude photo. And OnlyFans have a policy where if you've been scammed, you can get your money back, like your full money back. Now the problem with this is that obviously there is a processing fee. So that $200 doesn't come through in total. Money is taken off of that before OnlyFans get it to like distribute to the worker while they take their cut. And so they then got requests to send back full payments of $200 to thousands of people. They had to pay back over $1 million to people. So they lost tens of thousands of dollars in giving refunds to people. This has had major consequences and brought in new regulations that completely disrupts the financial lives of so many sex workers who rely on OnlyFans for income, especially given the current climate. A lot of people are using OnlyFans. A lot of sex workers who work off of OnlyFans and like in real life have moved on to it, and now they don't have a source of income properly either. And that is because OnlyFans have put caps on how much you can be tipped and how much you can charge for pay-per-view content. Now the maximum for pay-per-view content is $50. $50. And that's before OnlyFans take their 20% cut and before tax is taken off of it. So if you're charging $50 for something, you make $32 of that. So imagine making something like a sex tape that you would sell for $200. You would make $130 of that yourself for selling that. And now the most you can get for it is $32. That is a pay cut of almost 80%. Now, ask yourself, could you survive off of an 80% cut in your pay? This is their job. This is their source of income. And now they've had to face an 80% cut in their pay. Now, obviously, not everyone experiences that much of a loss, but they still experience a drastic loss because a lot of people who use OnlyFans as a full-time job do pay-per-view content. And not only has it put a cap on the pay-per-view, it has put a cap on tipping because OnlyFans offers you a way to tip people. So if they like your content, they can pay you a tip, and then maybe they'll send you a message with extra stuff. And that's what's cool about OnlyFans, is that you have a lot of options to do things. And now there is a cap on tips of $100. And again, a lot of people earn money off of tips and they're reliant on those sorts of things. And that comes from the generosity of the person. If someone wants to tip you more than $100, why shouldn't they be allowed to? As I said earlier, there are 480,000 content creators on OnlyFans, and a lot of those people are sex workers. And now they don't have their source of income to the level that they did before. And the problem is that a lot of people don't care. A lot of people don't care about sex workers. I've seen a lot of really disgusting comments towards these sex workers and this issue with, people telling them to get a real job and calling them things like glorified whores and just being so gross towards them. And that gets to me and grinds my gears even more, knowing that those are the type of people who watch porn that is so unethical. Like, they watch stolen porn on Pornhub where women are taken advantage of and not paid fairly, such as Mia Khalifa, right? Like, these are the type of men who would watch stuff with Mia Khalifa in it and then say that she's deserved everything that has happened to her. And they're the ones out here degrading sex workers as though they don't use sex workers' services. They want women to exist to objectify, not to respect. We live in this world where so many people like to just treat sex workers really badly and say that it's not a real job and they're disappointments and that it's gross and they're dirty. Sex work has been around since forever. It is the oldest profession. And the thing is that we live in a capitalistic society. It all works based on supply and demand. If people want there to not be sex workers, then they have to stop using the services of sex workers. Like I said, a lot of the people who are so degrading and awful towards people who work in sex work will use their services. They'll go to strip clubs. They'll watch porn. But yet they hate the people who create that for them. They have no respect for them. You can't have both. And the fact that people shame the women in the industry, but not the men who use those services, it's so backwards and fucked up. You can be a sex worker and have respect for yourself. You can be a sex worker and a feminist. You can be a successful sex worker. Do you know how at risk these people are? The danger that they put themselves in because of the amount of people who take advantage of them and think that they're asking for it? I have so much respect for sex workers. What they do is incredible. It takes so much work. So many people seem to think it's really easy. Oh my good Lord, it would be a difficult career to have. They work so hard. They put themselves at risk and they have to face so much shit from so many people. They have to be so strong and have so much confidence to be able to do that. And then also a lot of people feel like they don't have an option, which is so terrible. And we need better regulations around sex work. I'm going off on a tangent. That is a whole other video. That's all about like prostitution and things like that, which is sex work, but it's a different sort of form of sex work that I could rant about for a long, long time. Back to OnlyFans. I just want to make clear that Bella Thorne just posting lingerie pictures, that's not what the issue is. You do not have to post full nude photos on OnlyFans, and to be considered a sex worker, you do not have to do that. If you want to just post pictures in lingerie or whatever, that is totally, totally fine. The problem is when it's false advertising. If she'd have said lingerie picture, that would have been okay, because then people wouldn't have been demanding refunds because they wouldn't have been scammed. Everyone has their comfort levels and their thresholds, and if you don't feel comfortable posting full nudes, you don't have to. You can still make a career out of that. That's totally fine. I respect you. Everyone else should respect you too. The problem is when you lie. The problem is when you scam people. That's when it ruins it, especially when you're someone as big and influential and like a mainstream celebrity like Bella Thorne, because that's what brought thousands upon thousands of people onto the site to pay her, and why so much money had to be refunded. What she did was incredibly disrespectful and incredibly harmful to the industry. She made sex workers look like scam artists. She made sex workers lose a ton of money. She's made it incredibly difficult for them. She went on Twitter to apologize, but what she said was she doesn't understand why OnlyFans changed their policies. She doesn't understand how she did that, and that she was just trying to help sex workers and help the industry by bringing more people onto the platform to boost other creators. But she scammed people, and she knew she was doing that. I don't know how she can say she doesn't know how that happened. I don't know how she can sit here and be like, I don't know what happened. I was just trying to help. When she took $1 million from people, there are so many people who are trying to be in the sex industry, who are trying to earn a living, who could do with a fraction of that money. She hasn't said that she's going to give it to them. I haven't seen her say that anywhere. Bella, if you really wanted to support sex workers, you would have promoted other people's OnlyFans and not just created your own and then lied. And the only reason you would have lied would have been to get more money, because you know more people are going to pay for a full nude than a lingerie. Why else would you have lied about that? I'm sick of seeing people taking advantage of sex workers. I am sick of seeing people disrespect sex workers. I'm sick of people degrading them and disregarding them and telling them that what they're doing is shameful and not a real job. And I'm sick of those people being people who use those services and take advantage of it. I also see a lot of people sort of saying that paying for OnlyFans is so sad and only like really lonely, sad people pay for OnlyFans, when that's not true. I think if you're paying for OnlyFans and that's your source of like pornography, amazing. That's incredible. And I applaud you for that, and I beg you to continue doing that. If you are going to be consuming pornography, consume ethical porn. Stuff on sites like Pornhub, a lot of it is stolen and people don't get paid for it. A lot of people have been trafficked. There are minors. There is a whole category for she didn't know I was filming her. It's disgusting. The amount of women whose lives have been ruined from Pornhub, the amount of crimes that have been committed on there, the fact that like teen porn is a thing that exists and is a popular category on there is disgusting. It's not sad to pay for porn. You pay for all your other content. So why is that where you draw the line? Why is supporting millionaire actors something you're totally fine to do, but supporting people who are providing this content for you that is dangerous and that you consume, who need the money more than the people on Netflix do, why is that where you draw the line? Why is there a shame and a stigma around that? Don't feel shamed for paying for a subscription or pay-per-view content on OnlyFans. Don't feel ashamed for paying for a porn subscription on something like Lustry, which is like ethical homemade porn between like couples, where it's all, you know, by their choice, by consent. They decide everything that happens, filmed at home, uploaded. You know that is all very fair and they're making money and there's no exploitation of people. Be respectful of sex workers. Understand the amount that they go through and the amount that they work and the amount that they do, and pay for your porn. That's sort of what I'm going to say in the end. Respect sex workers. Fuck Bella Thorne. Pay for your porn. It's that easy, my guys. Support sex workers. Honestly, please. They deserve it. And yeah, fuck you, Bella Thorne. Think before you act and don't be so selfish. And you've ruined the livelihood of so many people. And I hope that you're fucking happy. That's another thing. She says that she's working with OnlyFans to try to solve this issue. And people are like, thank you for trying to sort it out. Like, no! Stop thanking her. She's the one that ruined it in the first place. She never should have done it. She shouldn't have been so inconsiderate. Don't thank her for fixing it when she's the one that broke it. Just as she should. She says, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna fix it. As you should. As you should. That is the absolute least you can do. You should fix it and then give all the money that you earned to sex workers. If you want to help, that's what you have to do. And if you don't do that, if you don't do both of those things, I'm sorry, not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm waiting for you to sort it out and make OnlyFans change their policies back to how they were before. Donate all that money to sex workers. Even if you do that, I don't know if I'm going to thank you because, cool, thanks for donating that money. But, like, maybe you should have done it before people told you you had to, you know? Like, don't just do it to save your ass. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Anyway, thank you for coming to my rant. Respect sex workers. Fuck Bella Thorne. Pay for your porn. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. If you would like to buy a pair of boob earrings, I can model them off of your boobs as I did. These are mine. Or I've just got some pre-made that you can order. So I have a bunch of Pride earrings and then some tees and some tote bags if you would like to support me and grab any of those. The link will be down below, or you can go straight to thequeerkiwi.com/shop. You can also join either of my Patreons. I have a family-friendly one with a bunch of bonus content, and then an 18+ one where it's not safe for work content of, like, you know? But it's not sex work in my description, so I put it on Patreon rather than OnlyFans. I don't want to take money away from sex workers because I want to support sex workers. I don't want to use their platform. So I'm on Patreon if you want to join that. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. And when you close your eyes, you replace the darkness.